Have you ever started something with excitement, only to quit when the results didn't show up fast enough? Maybe it was that workout routine you promised you'd stick to, or that online course you enrolled in but never finished, or the business idea that seemed amazing, but after a few months of trying, it just fizzled. You're not alone. Most of us are in a constant chase for results, wanting change to be instant and success to be quick. But what if the real secret to success isn't speed, but patience? What if your ability to stay steady during the boring, frustrating, invisible growth phase is what separates those who dream from those who achieve? In this video, we're going deep, not just into a motivational story, but into why patience is a superpower in a world obsessed with quick wins. You'll hear about real people who made it not by being the fastest, but by staying the longest. You'll learn how your brain tricks you into quitting too soon, and how to fight back. And most importantly, you'll walk away with 5 practical, life-changing tools to develop deep patience in your goals. So stay with me till the end. This one could change the way you approach your goals forever. Meet Rohan. Intelligent, driven, full of ideas. He's the kind of person who makes big promises to himself. I'll read every day. I'll get in shape. I'll master English. Only to give up a few days later when progress feels invisible. Sound familiar? Rohan, like so many of us, believed that if he didn't see fast results, it must mean he wasn't doing something right. He would start over again and again, each time with hope, each time quitting too soon. Now, let me pause and ask you something. When was the last time you felt discouraged because things weren't moving fast enough? Our society conditions us to crave instant gratification. We want six-pack abs in 2 weeks, fluency in 30 days, passive income by next month. But behind every overnight success you've ever heard of, there's a hidden story of quiet, boring persistence, of showing up when no one's watching, of doing the reps, mentally, emotionally, physically, when results are nowhere in sight. And Rohan was about to learn that lesson the hard way, or perhaps the beautiful way. One weekend, feeling drained and confused, Rohan visited his grandfather, a quiet, thoughtful man who had seen many seasons of life, and more importantly, had cultivated the wisdom that only time and patience can teach. As they sat under a neem tree in the backyard, Rohan opened up. "Why does it feel like I'm always starting over?" he asked. "Why can't I stick with anything long enough to get results?" His grandfather chuckled, then asked gently, "Would you like to hear a story?" Rohan nodded. "There once lived a young man named Arjun," his grandfather began. Arjun wanted to become a master sculptor. He dreamed of creating statues so beautiful that people would come from faraway places just to see them. So he found a large rock, his first project. With excitement in his heart, he picked up his chisel and started carving. Days passed, then weeks. Arjun worked tirelessly, but no matter how hard he tried, the rock didn't seem to change much. The shape wasn't right. The beauty he envisioned just wasn't coming through. Disheartened, he thought about quitting. Then one day, an elderly sculptor walked by and saw Arjun sitting silently beside the half-formed stone. "Why are you so sad?" the old man asked. "I've been carving this rock for months," Arjun said, "but it still looks like nothing. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this." The old sculptor smiled and replied, "Masterpieces don't reveal themselves in days. They require patience, the kind of patience that carves not just the stone, but the sculptor himself. Keep carving, and one day, the beauty inside the stone and within you will reveal itself." Rohan sat quietly, absorbing the story. "Do you understand?" his grandfather asked. And for the first time, Rohan did. He saw that impatience had been his enemy, not the lack of talent, not the lack of effort. He had been stopping at 40% effort, 50% effort, just before the breakthrough. This is a pattern we see everywhere. In fitness, most people give up a month into working out because they don't look different yet, ignoring the fact that real transformation takes months, sometimes years. In skill building, people try to learn English or a new language, but drop out as soon as it gets hard, forgetting that fluency is built from repeated exposure, not perfect lessons. In business, countless entrepreneurs give up on their ideas because success doesn't come quickly. never realizing that momentum compounds after consistency. If only more people understood this. Progress often hides behind the curtain of patience, and that curtain doesn't move unless you keep showing up. Let's pause here to give you something actionable. Tool 1. Track tiny progress. Don't wait for big milestones. Track small wins, like, I studied 15 new words today. I showed up at the gym even when I didn't feel like it. I wrote 1 page of my book. These are your emotional victories. Write them down. Celebrate them. Tool 2. Delay the deadline. If your goal is to get fluent in English in 2 months, you'll burn out when it doesn't happen fast. Instead, give yourself 2 years. Remove the pressure. Ironically, by removing the rush, you'll learn faster because your brain won't be panicked or impatient. Tool 3. Fall in love with boring. Repetition is boring. Consistency is boring. Mastery is boring. But boring is what builds greatness. You don't need new motivation every day. You need routines that don't care how you feel that day. Behind every champion is 1,000 hours of silence. Behind every bestseller is 100 rewrites no one ever sees. Behind every fit body is a decade of average workouts done consistently. Let's recap everything so far before we dive deeper into Rohan's transformation. Patience is not passive, it's active commitment. Success is invisible for a long time before it becomes obvious. Real people, J.K. Rowling, bamboo farmers, Olympic cyclists, win by staying the course. Your brain is wired to quit early, but you can retrain it. If you embrace boredom and track small wins, you'll develop the grit most people never do. And that brings us to a turning point in Rohan's story, where theory becomes action. In the next section, we'll follow Rohan's step-by-step transformation. You'll see how he took these ideas and began building a life grounded in patience, and how it completely changed his results. But before we continue, ask yourself, what goal have I been too impatient with? What dream have I been quietly abandoning because it's not happening fast enough? Think about that as we move into the next chapter of Rohan's journey. Rohan began reflecting on all the times he had quit too soon. The guitar he gave up learning because he couldn't play songs in the first week. The books he started but never finished. The YouTube videos he made but deleted because they didn't go viral. He realized he had been obsessed with fast rewards, not lasting results. That evening, he made a promise to himself. I will no longer measure success by how quickly it comes. I will measure it by how long I can stay committed. Let's pause and look at what's really going on in the brain. Our minds are wired for immediate feedback. It's part of our survival system. Back in ancient times, if you didn't get food soon, you starved. If you didn't find shelter before nightfall, you froze. But today, this survival wiring works against us. We want instant notifications, instant likes, instant weight loss, instant fluency. When we don't get that dopamine hit, our brain says, quit. This isn't working. But true success often comes in a different time zone than your expectations. To succeed today, you need to rewire your mind to delay gratification. And that's not just a motivational idea, it's a muscle you can build. Author Seth Godin introduced a concept called the dip, the frustrating middle part of any pursuit. At the start, everything feels exciting. New energy, new plans. Motivation is high, but then things slow down. The learning curve kicks in. Progress gets harder to see. Results lag. That's the dip, and it's where most people quit. But those who succeed are the ones who expect the dip and push through it. Patience isn't a passive thing. It's not sitting back and waiting for the universe to hand you your dreams. True patience is active persistence. It's showing up again and again, especially when progress seems invisible. Let's go beyond the story of Arjun and Rohan for a moment. Let's look at some real-life examples of people who've turned consistent effort into extraordinary outcomes. Before the world knew the name Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling was a single mother living on welfare, struggling with depression, and writing in cafes while her baby slept. She sent her manuscript to 12 publishers. Every single one rejected it, but she kept going. Why? Because something in her said, this story matters. I just need to find the right person who believes in it too. It took years before a small publishing house finally gave her a chance. That book would go on to sell 500 million copies and become a cultural phenomenon. Imagine if she had stopped at rejection number 5, or number 10, or even number 11. Her story isn't about magic. It's about relentless patience. There's a powerful story from nature that perfectly illustrates this idea. The Chinese bamboo tree. When a farmer plants a bamboo seed, he waters it every day. But here's the twist. Nothing grows for the first year, or the second, or even the third. By the 4th year, the farmer might start questioning everything. Is the seed dead? Am I wasting my time? Should I plant something else instead? But if the farmer stays patient, continues watering, continues trusting, then in the 5th year, something magical happens. The bamboo tree breaks through the ground and grows up to 90 feet tall in just 6 weeks. But let me ask you, did the tree grow in 6 weeks? No. It grew in 5 years, underground, developing deep roots. The same goes for our goals. Most of your growth happens beneath the surface, in silence, in solitude. And just like the farmer, you have to trust the process before you see the results. There's a concept called the aggregation of marginal gains, made famous by British cycling coach Dave Brailsford. When he took over the British cycling team, they were underperforming. No Olympic wins, no Tour de France titles, just average results for decades. Instead of going for big changes, Brailsford focused on tiny 1% improvements across everything. Better bike seats, lighter uniforms, personalized nutrition, improved sleep routines, even how athletes wash their hands to avoid getting sick. Individually, each change seemed insignificant, but together, they created a massive shift. Within a few years, Britain dominated world cycling. 7 out of 10 Tour de France titles, 16 Olympic golds. The takeaway: you don't need radical overnight transformations. You just need to be relentlessly consistent with small, smart actions. This is when something strange happened. Rohan no longer needed motivation. Daily study became a habit that was tied to his identity. I am a daily learner. I am not good, not yet, but I am improving. The change was not just in his English skills. It spread to all aspects of his life. He started to maintain a morning exercise routine. He read for 10 minutes every day. He did not give up when doing difficult math or confusing homework. One day, the English teacher asked the students to give a short presentation on a favorite topic. The class was silent, but Rohan volunteered first. He spoke fluently, making a few small mistakes, but still keeping his composure. After the presentation, his friends applauded. The teacher smiled and said, "Rohan, your progress is really impressive. I see you are on the right track." And for the first time, Rohan felt the sweet fruit of perseverance, not because someone praised him, but because he saw the results of not giving up. He started helping other kids learn, made videos, sharing how he learned vocabulary every day, started a small blog about his journey of overcoming impatience. Rohan, the boy who gave up on everything after a few days, is now an inspiration. He started each day by repeating the mantra his father had once said: progress, not perfection. Every morning, Rohan learned 5 new words and used them to write a short paragraph. He recorded himself reading the paragraph, and even though he heard many pronunciation errors, he didn't delete it, because this time, the goal wasn't to sound good, but to keep going. By the 3rd week, schoolwork was piling up, and classes were getting more intense. Rohan was feeling tired. Part of him was whispering, "Just take a day off." But instead of stopping, he slowed down, studying less, but still maintaining his routine. Here's a great lesson. Be flexible to get through tough days, rather than demanding perfection. He found that he responded more quickly when listening to English. It no longer took him as long to understand the meaning of the sentences in the videos. When the teacher asked him a question in English, he didn't avoid it like before, but instead began to answer confidently, even if he wasn't fluent. Every evening, Rohan wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. Gradually, he no longer felt like it was bad, but rather that he was improving, little by little. After a profound conversation with his grandfather, Rohan is no longer the boy who used to complain when things didn't go his way. He embarks on a new journey, this time, not to achieve instant results, but to practice patience and consistency in action. Instead of diving into learning 3 skills at once like before, Rohan started simple. He chose a single goal: to improve his English speaking ability. This time, he didn't set a goal of speak fluently in 30 days. Instead, he wrote, "Goal: learn and practice English 30 minutes a day for 1 year. No need to be perfect, just don't give up." And so the 365-day journey began. You don't need to do big things. You just need to do small things repeatedly. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, said, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." That means, it's not your ambition that determines your success. It's your habits. Let's take examples. 10 minutes of English practice a day equals 60 hours in a year. 10 pages of reading a day equals 15 plus books a year. 1 push-up added every day equals major fitness transformation in months. Rohan didn't become fluent in a week. He practiced small, daily habits. And those habits compounded into fluency, confidence, and eventually leadership. Try this. Choose 1 habit and commit to a minimum daily version. Example: I'll study at least 5 minutes a day, not 1 hour. Why? Because low resistance equals high consistency. You don't need to do big things. You just need to do small things repeatedly. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, said, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." That means, it's not your ambition that determines your success. It's your habits. Let's take examples. 10 minutes of English practice a day equals 60 hours in a year. 10 pages of reading a day equals 15 plus books a year. 1 push-up added every day equals major fitness transformation in months. Rohan didn't become fluent in a week. He practiced small, daily habits. And those habits compounded into fluency, confidence, and eventually leadership. Try this. Choose 1 habit and commit to a minimum daily version. Example: I'll study at least 5 minutes a day, not 1 hour. Why? Because low resistance equals high consistency. 2 years later, Rohan was no longer the frustrated boy chasing instant success. He had become a man who embraced the long game. A man who understood that every small step mattered. A man who now inspired others, not with flashy achievements, but with quiet, consistent progress. When people asked him, "What's the secret to your transformation?" he always smiled and said, "It wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It was patience, practiced daily." Patience isn't just a trait you're born with, it's a skill. Like any skill, it can be learned, strengthened, and mastered over time. In this section, we're going to explore 5 practical, science-backed tools that you can start using today to build real patience and long-term consistency. Whether you're learning a new language, building a business, improving your fitness, or just trying to become a better version of yourself, let's break them down. Perfection is the enemy of progress. When you aim to be perfect, you set yourself up for disappointment the first time things go wrong. And they will go wrong because growth is messy. Instead, shift your focus to micro-progress. Track what went right, even if it's small. Did you study for 15 minutes today? Did you write 1 page of your journal? Did you show up, even if you weren't 100% motivated? Every time you focus on progress over perfection, you reinforce the identity of someone who shows up. And identity motivation, every single time. Try this. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I do today that moved me just 1% forward? Imagine planting a seed and then digging it up every week to see if it's grown. That's how most people treat their goals. We want instant signs that it's working. And if we don't see them, we quit. But real growth doesn't happen like that. Real growth is slow, often invisible, and most importantly, below the surface. A tree takes years to grow its roots before it can carry fruit. You have to fall in love with the process, not just the end result. Enjoy the grind. Enjoy learning. Enjoy the fact that every small step is part of a longer, meaningful path. Try this. Choose 1 goal and commit to it without setting a short-term deadline. Let the timeline be flexible. Focus only on the daily process. Here's the truth. You are going to fail. Often. The difference between those who make it and those who quit is simple. Successful people see failure as a teacher. Unsuccessful people see it as a verdict. Rohan once saw every mistake as a signal that he wasn't good enough. Now he sees it as data. This didn't work. Let me try another way. You have to understand, failure is not a sign that you're not progressing. It's part of the process of progress. Try this. After every failure or mistake, write down, what did I learn? What will I do differently next time? This simple act turns setbacks into strategy. The reason most people don't succeed is simple. They quit too soon. They were just 1 week away from their breakthrough, one practice away from fluency, one small action away from momentum. But they let frustration win. What if you're just one step away? What if the version of you that you dream about is already being formed right now? You don't need to be faster. You just need to be steadier. So here's the question I want you to take with you. What is something you care about enough to pursue patiently? Is it learning a new language? Getting healthier? Starting a business? Healing a relationship? Building a mindset of resilience? Whatever it is, choose it today. Use the tools. Commit to the journey. And don't let speed become more important than direction, because slow growth is still growth. And those who are patient eventually become unstoppable. If this story and message resonated with you, leave a comment. What goal are you going to pursue patiently? Like and share this video to inspire someone else who needs this message. Subscribe for more real, transformative stories to fuel your journey. And always remember, the greatest things in life aren't rushed, they're crafted patiently. Years passed. Rohan, once the impatient boy who wanted quick success, was now known as a calm, focused, and accomplished man. A successful entrepreneur, a fluent speaker, and a respected leader. People often asked him, "What's your secret? How did you get here?" And he would always answer with a smile. It wasn't a secret. It was patience. Many people think patience means sitting around and waiting for something to happen. But true patience isn't passive, it's active discipline. It's what keeps you steady when results are slow. It's what helps you stay grounded when challenges pile up. It's what allows you to build something meaningful over time. Patience is showing up today, even when success is silent.